Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be one of those guys pouring my heartbreak onto the internet, but here I am. I guess I'm hoping that putting it all out there might help me untangle my head, and maybe help someone else too. I, 34M, live in Los Angeles, been married to my wife, Amanda, 32F, for almost 7 years. We met at a dog rescue event in Venice Beach. She was the sharp, funny, confident woman with a golden retriever smile, if you know what I mean. She worked in real estate and always had a million stories about showing fancy houses and networking with clients. I'm in graphic design, mostly working remote from our place in Culver City. At first, everything seemed solid. We had the usual ups and downs, but she'd always tell me we were a power couple. And I believed her. We were saving to buy a place in Echo Park, had talked about trying for kids next year. But about 3 months ago, I started noticing things that just felt off. Amanda was spending more nights working late at client dinners, but wouldn't answer my calls. She got jumpy when I asked who she was meeting. Her phone suddenly had a password on it. After 7 years of being unlocked, no problem. And whenever I walked by while she was texting, she'd flip the screen down. I wish I could say I trusted my gut right away, but I didn't. I told myself she was stressed, that the real estate market was nuts, that I was being paranoid. Anyway, that's the background. I'm gonna break down what happened next because it still feels unreal, and I need to get it out. About a month ago, the feeling in my gut stopped being just a feeling. It became a gnawing, constant presence. Like I was watching a horror movie in slow motion, and I couldn't look away. It started with a charger. Yeah, a stupid phone charger. I'd gotten home early from a client meeting, and Amanda wasn't supposed to be back until later that night. I realized my phone was low, and hers was just lying on the kitchen counter, plugged in. Odd, considering she never leaves without it. Out of habit, I glanced at it. The screen lit up and I saw a preview from someone named S. The message read, "Last night was insane. I can still smell you on me." My heart stopped. I stood there paralyzed. I knew I shouldn't, but I tapped the screen. The full conversation was still open. A guy named Sean. Not a coworker. Not a client. Just Sean. And not just Sean, he was graphic. There were messages going back weeks. Pictures, late-night plans, emojis I hadn't seen from her in years. I wanted to puke. I was shaking. I kept scrolling and found a message from 2 nights before when she told me she was working a late showing in Malibu. Turns out, she was at a boutique hotel in Santa Monica, sending this guy photos of herself in lingerie. The same one I had bought her for our anniversary 2 years ago. I didn't say anything right away. I know that sounds weak, but I was in shock. I felt like I was floating above my own body, watching someone else's life fall apart. I took photos of the messages with my own phone. Every screen, every picture. I backed it up. Later that night, she came home acting totally normal. Told me some nonsense about a celebrity client with weird requests. Kissed me like she hadn't just been with someone else the night before. That kiss made my skin crawl. That was the night I knew. My wife wasn't just lying. She was playing me, boldly, cruelly, and she had no clue I knew. I didn't confront her that night, or the next night. I spent a few days watching her, studying her like I didn't already know what she was. It was like I was living with a stranger who wore my wife's face. What made it worse was how normal she was acting. Laughing at dumb TikToks in bed next to me. Asking if I wanted to try that new sushi place on Sawtell. Giving me crap for leaving dishes in the sink. The whole time I was looking at her, wondering, how many times did she lie to my face? Was I ever not being lied to? I waited until a Friday. I knew she didn't have showings that evening because her shared Google Calendar, which she forgot I still had access to, was empty. She came home around 8 p.m., hair done, makeup on, wearing a dress I hadn't seen in months, short, black, tight, one I always loved on her. She walked in, humming, holding a shopping bag from Sephora, smiled at me like nothing was wrong. I said, "Where were you?" She blinked. "Sephora. I told you I wanted to grab that lip gloss they were out of last week." I stood up, phone in hand. "Really? So you weren't at the Kimpton Hotel on Wilshire?" Her whole face changed, like someone pulled the power cord from her skull. Total reboot. What are you talking about? She said, half laughing. What hotel? I opened the photo album on my phone and started flipping through the screenshots. Message after message. Her in that same black dress, texting Sean from the bathroom mirror. Her in that hotel bed. Her writing things I never thought she was capable of. She turned pale, mouth open. Then came the gaslighting. You're being insane. Those messages are out of context. It was only texting. You don't understand what it's like being with someone like you. So checked out all the time. Then the tears. Oh God, the crocodile tears. Like she was the victim. Like I had hurt her. When I didn't say anything, just kept looking at her. She snapped, started screaming that I was violating her privacy. That everyone flirts a little. That it didn't mean anything. That's when I said it. You made me think I was crazy. You made me think you were the only one I could trust. And the whole time you were laughing behind my back. She went quiet, just stood there. No apology, no explanation, just silence. And that was worse than the yelling. I wish I could say I handled it like a movie hero. Stoic, composed, walking away in slow motion with my dignity intact. But the truth? I fell apart. That night, after she locked herself in the guest room, I sat on the floor of our bedroom with my dog, a scruffy mutt named Jasper we rescued together, and just broke. There's this kind of crying people don't talk about. Not loud or dramatic. Just quiet, leaking grief. Your whole body hurts. Your heart physically aches. And your brain keeps replaying every sweet memory like it's trying to punish you. I remembered when she surprised me with Jasper on my birthday. I remembered her singing Fleetwood Mac while cooking, barefoot in our old apartment. I remembered her falling asleep on my shoulder during late-night drives up PCH. And it all felt fake. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't eat the next day. Everything I thought I knew about my life was suddenly suspect. I started questioning every memory. Was she texting him during our anniversary dinner? Was that work retreat in Palm Springs just another weekend with him? Was anything real? My self-esteem took a nosedive. I kept wondering if it was me. Did I miss something? Was I not enough? Was I boring, predictable, too comfortable? I found myself spiraling into self-doubt, analyzing everything I'd ever done in the relationship. I even caught myself missing her. That's the sickest part. I missed the version of her I thought existed. The one who'd never existed at all. I stopped posting on social media. I stopped answering texts from friends. I told my boss I had food poisoning just to avoid video calls. I didn't want people to see me. Not like this. And she acted like she was the one who'd been wronged. Wouldn't even look ashamed. She stayed in the guest room for a few days, mostly on her phone. At one point she said, "Can we just move past this?" Like I had accidentally found an old receipt or something. No, we couldn't. So after a few days of silence, she walks into the living room like she's coming back from a spa retreat. Hair tied up, wearing my old college hoodie, my hoodie, and holding her laptop. She says, "Look, I've been thinking. We both made mistakes. Maybe we need a reset." I swear to God, I thought I misheard her. I said, "What mistakes did I make, Amanda?" She goes, "You stopped paying attention to me. You've been emotionally unavailable for months. You don't compliment me anymore. You work all the time. What was I supposed to do?" She was actually blaming me for her affair. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because my brain couldn't compute the sheer audacity. I said, "So cheating on me was your way of handling communication problems?" She looked dead serious and said, "People make mistakes. At least I didn't leave you. Let that sink in. At least I didn't leave you." I asked her point blank, "Are you still talking to him?" She hesitated for 1 second and said, "No, I blocked him." I didn't believe her. So I did something I'm not proud of. I checked her iPad, which was still synced to her phone's iMessages. Guess what? She hadn't blocked him. She just changed his name in her contacts to Samantha. Their conversation had continued the night after I confronted her. She told him, "He's being dramatic. I think I can smooth it over. Don't worry. Don't worry." That's when the switch flipped. Whatever part of me still held out hope for fixing it, gone. Just gone. I printed out the messages, left them on the dining table, packed a bag, took Jasper, booked a room at a cheap Airbnb in Silver Lake for the week. When I walked out the door, she asked, "Where are you even going?" I said, "Somewhere I don't have to look at a liar." So, I'm holed up in this tiny Airbnb in Silver Lake, trying to breathe again. It's nothing fancy. Cracked tiles in the bathroom, creaky floors, and a weird smell I can't identify, but it was peaceful, quiet, nobody lying to my face. On day 2 of my self-imposed exile, I started getting texts. First from a mutual friend, Talia. "Hey, Amanda told me you blew up at her and left? What's going on?" Then another one from her cousin Lauren. "You need to talk to Amanda. She's devastated. I didn't realize you were being emotionally abusive." Excuse me, what? Turns out, Amanda had already started her own little PR tour. She told people I emotionally neglected her, that I had anger issues, and that I stormed out instead of trying to save our marriage. She painted herself as this poor, fragile woman whose cold husband pushed her into another man's arms. She even told her mom I had spied on her private messages and violated her trust. This woman cheated on me, gaslit me, lied about ending it, and now she's flipping the story like she's the one who got burned. What killed me was how believable she sounded to other people. Amanda's always been that polished, well-spoken, presentable type. I'm more reserved, kind of quiet unless you know me. She knew how to spin a narrative, and she did. Fast. I didn't respond to most of the messages. I just didn't have it in me. But I sent Talia a few screenshots. I said, "I didn't blow up. I found this." She didn't reply for a while. Then finally, "Holy SHT. I'm so sorry. I had no idea." Asterisk. A few others started coming around once the truth got out. But it still hurt knowing that people, even for a moment, believed her lies. Like my pain was a rumor, and her betrayal was just a bad misunderstanding. Meanwhile, Amanda kept texting. Some days it was guilt-trippy. "You're throwing away everything we built." Other days it was delusional. "Let's go to therapy and fix this." And then came the real kicker. "You don't really want to be alone, do you?" No, Amanda. I don't want to be alone. But I'd rather be alone than feel this lonely in my own marriage. After a few days in Silver Lake, I thought the worst was behind me. I cried. I'd raged. I'd stared at walls for hours. I figured, okay, that was rock bottom. Turns out, rock bottom had a basement. I went back to the house to grab more clothes while Amanda was supposedly out with friends. I planned it carefully, wanted to avoid another confrontation. When I pulled into the driveway, her car wasn't there. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and instantly felt weird. Her perfume was fresh in the hallway. Not like she'd sprayed it that morning. Like it was in the air now. I walked into the bedroom, and the bed was a mess. Not our usual mess. 2 wine glasses on the nightstand. One with lipstick. I stood there, heart pounding, trying to breathe. Then I heard it, water running. In the shower. I walked slowly toward the bathroom. The door was slightly open. Steam pouring out. I opened it. There he was. Sean. In my shower. In my goddamn house. Using my eucalyptus shampoo. He looked at me like a deer in headlights. I didn't say a word. Just closed the door and walked out. Amanda texted me 10 minutes later. "I didn't expect you to just show up unannounced. No apology. No shame. No remorse. Just that. Like I was the one who broke the rules." That was it for me. The final straw. I texted her one sentence. "You have 48 hours to get out of the house. I'm filing." And I did. Contacted a divorce attorney the next morning. Started the paperwork. Changed my passwords. Froze the joint accounts. Canceled the lease renewal. Told the landlord I'd be moving out when it was finalized. I wasn't just done emotionally. I was done logistically. It wasn't revenge. It was survival. The day after I filed, I woke up and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Clarity. Not peace, not yet. But a sharpness. Like the fog had finally lifted. and I could see things for what they were. Not the fantasy I'd clung to. Not the version of Amanda I'd built in my head. Just cold, unfiltered reality. And that reality was this. I had been living with someone who didn't love me anymore. She probably hadn't in a long time. She just didn't have the guts to say it. The house was still half mine, so I stayed just long enough to pack my things. I took what mattered. My books, my laptop, my clothes, my tools, my guitar, and Jasper. My ride or die through all of this. Everything else? I told her to keep it. Let her decorate her new little love nest with memories she ruined. The next few weeks were rough, but manageable. I started sleeping better. Eating again. Answering texts. Friends who'd pulled away started reaching back out. Especially once they heard the truth. Turns out Amanda's story didn't hold up for long. Sean had a girlfriend who found out everything and went nuclear. Blew it all up on social media. Screenshots. Timelines. Names. Amanda's little victim narrative collapsed like a cheap tent in the Santa Ana winds. She texted me, "Hope you're happy. Everyone's turned against me." I didn't respond. Not because I didn't have words, I had too many. But I realized something. I wasn't responsible for her anymore. Not her reputation. Not her consequences. Not her cleanup crew. I started going for walks again. Hikes up Runyon with Jasper. Coffee at my favorite spot in Echo Park. I even signed up for a kickboxing class. Something I always wanted to do but never had time for. Turns out I did have time. I just didn't have space. Amanda took up too much of it. It's wild how life starts creeping back in when you stop trying to hold together something that's already broken. A few weeks after I moved out for good, I got invited to a small backyard get-together in Los Feliz. Just a few friends, nothing dramatic. I almost didn't go. Still had that low-grade social anxiety that comes from being publicly humiliated. But I forced myself. And you know what? It was nice. Simple. There was laughter that didn't feel forced. A fire pit. Someone brought a guitar. For the first time in what felt like years, I wasn't looking at my phone every 10 minutes, waiting for a fight or a fake apology. Someone there, a friend of a friend named Maya, started talking to me about design. She was a photographer. Nothing flirty, nothing heavy. Just easy. We talked about lighting techniques and bad client requests and favorite street murals downtown. It wasn't a spark, but it was something. A reminder that there were still people out there who weren't wrapped in lies. She didn't ask about Amanda. Didn't treat me like a wounded animal. Just treated me like a person. That meant more than she knew. Over the next month, I kept building. I took on more freelance work. Got serious about moving to a new apartment. Started a side project I'd shelved during the marriage. A digital art series based on the shifting architecture of LA. I even stopped checking Amanda's social media. She blocked me anyway, which was hilarious considering she cheated on me. The best part? I started feeling like myself again. Not the guy she tried to turn me into. Passive, uncertain, constantly apologizing for things I didn't do. But the guy I was before her. And better, because I knew now what to look for, what to run from, what not to accept, even when it's dressed up as love. It's been 4 months now. The divorce is nearly finalized. The papers should be signed next week. I'm living in a small but bright apartment in Highland Park with Jasper, who's currently passed out on the couch like he pays rent. And me? I'm okay. Not amazing. Not fully healed. But okay. And after everything? That's a damn miracle. I've spent a lot of time thinking about what I learned. Not just about Amanda, but about myself. About what I allowed. About how far I bent just to avoid conflict. How long I rationalized red flags because I didn't want to admit the truth. And here's what I want anyone reading this, anyone who might be going through something similar, to know. 1. If your gut says something's off, don't ignore it. Your instincts exist for a reason. I wasted months gaslighting myself before I even knew she was doing it to me too. 2. Cheaters don't accidentally cheat. It's a choice. A series of choices. Lying is not an accident. Sneaking around, texting someone behind your partner's back, covering your tracks. That's not a mistake. That's a character trait. 3. You are not responsible for someone else's lack of integrity. I spent too much time wondering if I'd caused this, if I hadn't been affectionate enough or spontaneous enough or exciting enough. But no version of me deserved betrayal. Neither do you, for you can recover. The days will feel endless at first. You'll cry at weird moments. You'll hear a song and feel your chest cave in. But then one day, without realizing it, you'll laugh at something dumb again. You'll sleep through the night. You'll stop checking their last seen status. You'll come back to yourself. 5. Get receipts. Back everything up. It sounds cold, but trust me. Protect yourself legally, financially, emotionally. Don't assume they won't try to spin the story. They will. I don't hate Amanda. I feel nothing for her now. And weirdly, I think that's worse than hate. She's just another person I used to know. But I'll never let myself get talked out of my own reality again. I hope none of you ever have to go through this. But if you do, you're not alone. And it does get better. One tiny, painful, beautiful step at a time. Thanks for reading. TLDR. My wife cheated, lied, blamed me, and tried to spin it like I was the villain. I caught her red-handed, left, filed for divorce, and started rebuilding my life from scratch in Los Angeles. It's been hell, but I'm still here.